Hello friends, welcome to Study Track. In this video, today you will see the important questions of Flamingo for class 12 board examination 2019. The first chapter, the last lesson, describes that how it is difficult for the people to accept a language which is imposed on them. From this chapter, prepare 3 questions. How did friends' feelings about M. Hamel and school change? What was M. Hamel's regret on the day of last lesson? An order from Berlin aroused a particular zeal in the school. Comment. After receiving the order from Berlin, Franz forgot about his teacher's ruler and crankiness. Instant he started liking him. Then his feelings towards his school also changed, as he did not want to give up his books and lessons, as they seemed to be old friends. The second chapter, The Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood, focuses on children from deprived backgrounds. In this, the important questions are: how are Sahib and Mukesh different from each other? Lost Spring vividly highlights the miserable life of street children and bangle makers of Firozabad. What qualities does Anis Jung want the children to develop? In this chapter, we see that Sahib is content with just managing to survive, but Mukesh dares to dream of working in a better profession as a motor mechanic. Anis Jung wants the children to become free from the vicious circle of poverty, and she wants them to become free from the traditional occupation, be optimistic and fearless so that they can dream of taking up their occupation just like Mukesh, who wants to be a motor mechanic. Here are some important questions from Chapter 3, Deep Water. First one, how did the instructor turn Douglas into a swimmer? Second, how did the misadventure affect him? How did he overcome this? And what lesson did Douglas learn when he got rid of the fear of water? The misadventure had a very deep impact on Douglas. It left a haunting fear lurking in his heart. He was extremely scared of water and avoided going near it whenever he could. The fear deprived him of joys of boating and fishing and destroyed his social life. So he decided to hire an instructor who removed his initial fear of water by making him cross a pool suspended by a rope attached through a pulley to his belt. This went on for 3 months, and finally, with his efforts, he was able to learn swimming. The fight against the terror taught him the very important lesson that all we have to fear is the fear itself. Dear friends, Rattrap is a very interesting chapter of Flamingo. Prepare these 3 questions from it. What made Peddler accept Edla Wilmanson's invitation? Why was Edla happy to see the gift left by the peddler? And how are the values of concern and compassion brought out in the story? Edla Wilmanson's kindness made the peddler feel that he could trust her. Edla talked to him compassionately, assuring him that no harm would come to him and that he would be at liberty to leave whenever he wanted. Edla was very happy to see the gift left by the peddler because it was unexpected. When she found the stolen 30 kronor in the rat trap, she was overjoyed to understand that her kindness and compassion had changed the peddler and brought out his essential goodness. In this story, we have seen that the peddler was highly touched by the act of concern and compassion showed by Edla Wilmanson, and this proves that goodness is the latent in the human heart and can be brought out by love, care and understanding. Dear friends, now come to chapter 5, Indigo. In this, we learn that how the father of nation Mahatma Gandhi helps the peasant of Champaran to become self-reliant. Prepare this question from this chapter. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhiji's life. Elucidate. Second question, self-reliance, Indian independence and help to sharecroppers were all bound together. How did Gandhiji manage to do this? Third question, why did Gandhiji agree to a settlement of 25% refund to the farmers How did it influence the peasant-landlord relationship in Champaran? Gandhiji realized that people had to be made free from fear and only then they could be freed from foreign oppression. The spontaneous demonstration of the people proved that Gandhiji had the people's support in his fight against the Britishers. The triumph of the civil disobedience at Champaran motivated the launching of the movement on a large scale during the freedom movement. So Gandhiji's winning the case of the sharecroppers proved that British authority could be challenged. Hence, the Champaran episode served as a stepping stone to the Indian struggle for independence. Dear friends, you know that chapter 6 and 7 are deleted from the portion. Now let us come to the 8th chapter, Going Places. This chapter is concerned with the problems of the stage of adolescence like fantasizing and hero worshipping. First important question from this chapter is bring out the contrast between Sophie and Jhansi, citing relevant instances from the story. Another question is given the socio-economic conditions in which Sophie lived, should she have big dreams? Why or why not? Another important question can be justify the title of the story Going Places. The story Going Places is a journey into the dream world of the protagonist Sophie who drifts from one dream to another. Sophie finds the reality of her life too harsh to accept. She belongs to a lower middle class family. Still, she dreams of owning the best boutique, becoming a manager in some store, and at times becoming an actress or a fashion designer. In reality, the pitiable condition of her life do not let her venture into such sophisticated professions. In her dream world, she visits Roy's Arcade, meets Danny Casey, the sports icon, and even fixes up a date with him. It's all in her mind, but she considers it true and actually waits for him to show up at a specified spot and time. The flight of her imagination is such that it flits from one dream to another and from one place to another. Thus, the title suits the story because throughout the narration, the protagonist jumps from one dream to the next and from one place to the other. A life without dreams would be dull and monotonous, but living life completely on dreams and separating the self from the reality is harmful. Sophie knows that the fantasies that she creates in her mind can never be a part of her real life, yet she creates her own dream world and even tries to involve the people around her in her fake world. She willingly leads herself into believing things that might not be true or only made up in her mind. So, for human beings, facts and fiction do not belong to watertight compartments because often the lines between the two becomes blurred in our mind. So we should have realistic dream which should motivate and inspire us to work hard and be determined. So dear friends, these were the important topics from Flamingo which were based on experience of teaching and previous year's question paper. If you will solve all these questions, we are sure you are going to get very good marks in class 12th board examination. So keep watching and keep studying from Study Track.